Hey everyone, it's Rethos, and I'm excited to be here today because we have the Unkillable Ali Attack 4-3 ratio champion team called the Heli-Fat. Works on all affinities with minor gear swaps for 2 champions only. Enough talking, let's see the magic happening. So, what we're gonna be needing is kind of like the war tower from top in the best case scenario that we can have with an Ali attacker and a 4-3 champion. In my scenario, I'm using the same champion to do both of them, which is Fahrakin the Fat. Now, you're gonna need a Warcaster or anyone that places block damage buffs for 1 turn with a 4-turn cooldown at 247 speed. Helicath, the new champion that we got him from Fusion, at 240 speed. Doompriest at 182 speed for the cleanses. Fahrakin the Fat at 224 speed, that speed cannot change. Halvalax at 174 speed, that speed also cannot change. It cannot change in this difficulty, nothing else. And Doompriest on 182, it's been locked there. So what you're gonna have is 1 turn delay on the A3 from Helicath, and that's it. Auto from the start, guys. You don't have anything to do other than that. The only thing that you have to pay attention of is Warcaster not to be stunned by under any circumstances. Anyone else can be stunned, but not Warcaster. So if you have problems with it, just go and pick up the Steadfast Mastery. It's gonna help you move forward. And also having him on the last section. We're gonna go more for that later down the video. Now, for Spirit, as you can see, it works perfectly. Doompriest cleanses the Spirit debuffs and the speed. So actually the first speed decrease that both Warcaster and Fahrakin the Fat got until Doompriest cleanses it, it works in your favor and it starts sinking fully from turn 6, okay? Now for Force Affinity, it's still the same scenario, and Magic, again, the same thing. Now for Nightmare, we have 247 Warcaster, 240 Helicath with 2 turns delay on his A3 and 1 turn delay on Warcaster A3. Doompriest to 169, sorry about that. And that's the speed that changes. And Fahrakin the Fat down to 223 speed, down by 1. That's all you need to do for it to work perfectly. Again, the same rule, Warcaster cannot be stunned, everyone else can be stunned. You don't have any problems with that. Spirit works immediately from turn 9, starts syncing perfectly, and it goes amazing from there and on. Void, no problem. I already run the key, I ran 2 keys yesterday and 1 key today to make it sure that it's working as intended, and I had no problems. So let's go and see what's going on from gear department, okay? You don't need crazy gear, you just need to reach the speeds and have the perfect masteries, and that's about it. Obviously, the rule of mastery is to not use masteries like, where is it? Sorry. Masteries like Arcane Celerity or Rapid Response also works here. And Cycle of Magic not on the, pretty much the block damagers. And Cycle of Revenge. You don't want those masteries at all. You can pick up Lore of Steel if you want, but you have to be really careful to do that before you apply the gear, and be sure to add it on the calculator so you have no problems with that. So let's start with Helicath and his gear. So the gear that he's wearing is not the best, as I told you. 4k defense, 240 speed, crit cap, 188 crit damage, 234, and I went with masteries on the support tree just because Helicath has an automatic counterattack with his passive. Okay, every time that he plays a block damage and the boss attacks someone with block damage buff, he counterattacks just once. So that's 100% guarantee CA. All the way down to Warmaster, picking up Master Hexer and Sniper to prolong the weekend, because he's the main source of the weekend debuff in that team that I'm running. Fahrakin the Fat, pretty much at 224 speed for Ultra Nightmare purposes. If you're doing Nightmare, 223 speed. Crappy attack, 2.4 only. 100% crit rate, 105. 124, those numbers can be amped up. And accuracy on 212. Not booked fully on the beatdown, that's really lame, so we're losing a little bit damage there. And the masteries, I'm upping up with lasting gifts. So because he has no full books, that means that those are gonna drop for the rest of the team. So as soon as he's being booked, I'm gonna go to deterrence. Okay, so for now I'm picking up those masteries just for that. Warmaster also on him. Calvalax is the other DPS that we have, the steady DPS that doesn't change the speed. Almost 4k attack, 174 with 102 crit rate, 219 crit damage and 263 accuracy. You can amplify that by more, so you can do more damage, but the speed, keep it the same. Mastery wise, a little bit with Master Hexer and Sniper to get more poisons, more turn poisons. If you feel comfortable with that, you can just go with Deterrence, or even better, if you have the pretty much the accessories that we have from the clan, so you can go with counterattack accessories and he can keep counterattacking through the accessories while you also have the Master Hexer. That's a really cool thing you can do. Doesn't matter which masteries you pick up on the offense, if you're picking up healing or not, as long as you pick up War Master so he can smack the boss. Now, really crucial for Warcaster, 247 speed. You want to build him with a lot of attacks so he smacks. Crit rate to 115 over crit cap here and 116 the crit damage. And War Master pretty much all the way down. I also picked up Stocked Fury in case he gets any debuff from the boss to benefit that 4%. But really important, I went with Steadfast just to make sure that he's not going to be targeted by the boss, okay? He's not going to be the first choice of the boss. Rapid response and arcane celerity on all of those teams, avoid them by any chance, and obviously Cycle of Magic on both the block damagers. I didn't want with Lore of Steel because we already reached the speed, so it was gonna throw it off. Now for Doompriest, pretty much 182 speed, the rest of the stats do not matter. If you do not use champions with poisons, just use him in a toxic set if you can reach the speeds, okay? He's gonna do fine, even so. Again, down to Warmaster, avoiding the cycle of revenge and going with Deterrence. Now, a really cool thing to know about this setup, you can use Geomancer. He will still reflect back through his passive. Sadly, you cannot use Ninja, and you cannot use Relentless Gear. That's gonna throw off the tune. And also, you cannot use Occult Brawler because Occult Brawler has a tendency of placing poison on himself, making Doompriest cleanse the poison instead of the speed reduction, and making the entire run problematic from there and on. Anyway, enough talking, let's see the fight. As you can see, there is already one key down here with that account. That's on Void. So right now it's Force, and how you want to set them that team, okay? Whoever you have at lead, you can have Helicath if you want on lead, or if you have problems, you can use a Force of Magic Affinity for the Force Affinity boss as leader, so he takes the stun. As long as he's on 174, for example, swap Zintoro with Calvalax in this account, and always have Warcaster the last of the lot, okay, the last of the entire group. So he's the last choice of the boss to be attacked when everything else fails. Now, the setup is fairly simple. You can see from the video and the links pretty much what you need to do. Helicath with immediately devoted servants and starts with Winds of Speed. Calvalax, Doompriest, those are basic damage abilities that you want to do. And from the get-go, Invisible Aura for Warcaster. For the Nightmare, you kind of have to manual the first turn all the way up to the second until you do Pyroclastic Claw with Helicath. So you start with A2, then you do A1 with him, and then that's auto. The rest are like Blood Freeze, Fahrakin the Fat, and start with Tactical Ace and then Invincible Aura with Warcaster. Anyway, let's see the run and let's see the numbers that they can do. As I already told you, you don't need crazy gear, okay? As you have seen, these guys have no crazy gear, yet they still do decent amount of damage to 2 key Ultra Nightmare and 1 key Nightmare. If you have Helicath and you don't have a Seeker and you cannot build a Bat Eater, Batman Forever or something kind of like that, or you don't have a Brogni and you happen to have a Doompriest, you can really build that team. You can use a Warcaster, you can use a Demithai if you haven't fully booked here, although Demitha actually has her own setup, a little bit more on the speed section, but it's fine. You see Warcaster here got stunned, but it doesn't matter. On the first time he can be stunned, it's fine. As long as he's not stunned after turn 6, everything is gonna be perfect. So just to make sure to pay a little bit of attention so he's not being stunned after turn 6. If he does, then swap your 174 champion and use Jintoro or someone else. Now, it's not gear intensive, you just need to reach the speeds and need to pick up the correct masteries, and that's it. Okay, you can still go ahead of this. You just saw that the boss is Force Affinity and he just attacked the Spirit Affinity just because the buffs were in play. He had the less buffs than the other ones. So from now on, it's pretty much super easy. I'm gonna let you enjoy the fight, and I'm gonna be back as soon as this thing ends. See you in a bit, guys. As you can see, we are already at 36 million by turn 40, and this is not a perfect team, okay? This is not the best geared team out there, but they're still able to handle a lot of damage. Now, if you have a Draco, for example, on another affinity, it's gonna be much, much better. If you have a Fane, even if you don't have Calvalax Wits, you're gonna say he extends buffs and stuff like that. Even if you don't have Calvalax and you have Fane, Fane can actually place any poisons that you want. Or, if you're lacking poisons, you can build other champions with more poisons. If you don't have a Fahrakin the Fat, you can run it with a Krilla. You cannot run it with a Lanakis because he boosts turn meter and that will create problems. The only thing you have to make sure of is reach the speeds and make sure that whenever you're altering from Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare to swap those two champions, the 4-3 the 4-3 champion, sorry, and the Doompriest. Just remember that. I've been working that since yesterday night. It's kind of based on the War Tower with an ally attack and a 4-3 champion, and it's a guaranteed 2-key Ultra Nightmare, 1-key Nightmare, okay? Maybe it can become 1-key Ultra Nightmare. If you got good gear, yeah, it can definitely become 1-key Ultra Nightmare with no problems. Geomancer, if you don't have, for example, Calvalax, will reflect from his passive skill, 75,000 per champion being hit. So yeah, Geomancer works. He's not gonna transfer as much as he's doing it through a Man-Eater setup, but he's still gonna do a lot of damage. And you can see by now, we're at 47 turn at 43 million. We already broke the 35.7 million, and something changes needed for the 2-key Ultra Nightmare. And we're relaxing and we're having a really easy combo. As long as you have Helicath and Warcaster, that's it. Then you need a Doompriest to cleanse the stuns. If you don't have a Doompriest and you have Marked, for example, you can use Marked if you want. Block debuffs is gonna work as well instead of the cleanse. As long as your Warcaster is not stunned, everyone else can be stunned without any problem from them. Although I will recommend having Doompriest in, okay? So, 45.86 million damage, Ultra Nightmare with Calvalax. Look at Helicath, like 12 million damage. He almost reached out Calvalax. Fahrakin the Fat, amazing champion, I love that champion. Almost 15 million damage right there. Warcaster only 3.8, Doompriest 2.5, and Calvalax 1.4. Imagine if you build them better, they're gonna perform much, much better. So that's it, guys. That's the new Heli-Fat team. Thank you for watching the video and stay tuned for more awesome stuff, guys. Be safe. Bye.